I finally get to talk to you guys about the new Traxxas Mini Maxx. It's been a pretty hot topic in the RC world, considering there's very limited information on it. It was actually shown off at a recent hobby show and it got leaked out from there. People have been talking about it ever since, and I've been getting a ton of messages about it. Well, I was at that show and I was able to grab some video on the truck, and that's what we're gonna go over today. I'm gonna give you a quick look of the Mini Maxx, tell you about its features. Let's get right into it. So Traxxas went ahead and scaled down the Maxx. Look at this thing. It's absolutely awesome. I bet you if you saw this in a photo and you didn't see that little mini above the Maxx decal, you would think it's a regular Maxx. That's how good it looks. It's available in a number of different colors like they normally have with their vehicles. I saw orange and green at the show. It's got the wild graphics on it, but I'm sure you could see there's no body clips. There also isn't a roof skid. I was kind of hoping that I'd see a roof skid on this thing, seeing that it's probably going to be doing a lot of stunts. But the body graphics definitely look cool, and it's easy to pop the body off. There's the clips on the inside. Now we could take a look at the chassis. Look at this. It is a scaled down Maxx, guys. Look at the chassis setup. The shock tower is integrated into it. It's got the impact bumpers on it. Everything just looks really solid. I mean, it's like a mini tank, and it's got the skids on the bottom, so it's got to glide over terrain. They didn't really stray too far from the original design. Obviously, they had to make some changes for it to fit in this small platform. Because of its compact size, the steering servo had to be relocated. It's actually on the upper plate, like right behind the shock tower, and swings a bell crank steering under it. They still have the battery strap system where it's easy to remove the battery. The composite chassis does look impressive. The drive shaft is obviously tucked through the center. I didn't get to see it, seeing that's a BL2S. Maybe there is one of the composite drive shafts, but let's move on to the suspension. So it's basically a scaled down Maxx suspension setup, really heavy duty looking arms, no adjustability on the upper arm, but we do have a couple holes for the shocks to be moved. It's got the scaled down caster blocks and steering knuckles, dual shears, so it's not gonna pop off on you, even fixed links for the steering. And then the shocks are basically 10 scale shocks, just a size for the specific vehicle. These were actually still prototypes. They only had a few of these trucks available for us to check out, but the suspension setup does look solid. Now into the drivetrain. Guess what, guys? It has a 1/10 scale drivetrain and planetary gear differentials. The size of the diffs are larger than those in the Slash 4x4. So this is already heavy duty from the factory. You know, usually with a smaller car, we see scaled down driveline components, but they went right with the 10 scale stuff. And then take a look at the drive shafts from the 10 scale vehicles, just shortened up. Now let's take a look at the electronics. It's going to come with the TQ radio system. It's got their 2056 steering servo up front with a servo saver. And then they have the receiver tucked away in the receiver box, so it's nice and water resistant. And of course, they went with the BL2S system. It's a very tight fit in there. The ESC is equipped with their ID plug, and this is a very low maintenance system. Now I also caught word that it is going to come with this 3,500 milliamp battery pack and a USB-C charger. There's a closer look at the honeycomb chassis bracing. And now let's check out the wheels and tires. Mini sledgehammer tires. These were actually prototype as well. They weren't the final compound, but I love the sledgehammer for a tire. The wheel looks very cool in a gunmetal gray. 12mm hex from what I heard, and your standard 7mm locking nut to hold the wheel down. Very cool looking truck. This thing looks solid, and I think for those that are going to want to go and mod it, you're getting an excellent base. But actually, out of the box, this thing is an absolute blast to drive. I got a few seconds behind the wheel, and I was very impressed.